Special Utility District. It's a regular call meeting for the special board meeting for today, May the 8th. It is 6:04. Roll call to order. Dr. Adriana Flores Villarreal.
Here.
Jose Luis Ochoa.
Here.
Ricardo Perez.
Here.
Homero Tijerina.
Here.
Ana Maria Perez.
Here.
And Narciso Solis.
Here.
We do have a quorum. Item B, invocation.
Heavenly Father, as we gather today to conduct matters of business for AGUA SUD, may you give us your guidance, wisdom, and knowledge to make the best decisions for the ratepayers and employees. Lord, let this meeting be productive and let your peace surround us today. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. D, public comments. Mr. Salinas.
Yes, Madam President, we have Mr. J.L. Perez with the City of Palmview and Mr. Mario Flores with 3F Ranch that sign up for public comments.
Good evening.
Evening.
Can you hear me? Yes, sir.
My name is J.L. Perez from the City of Palmview. Thank you for having us here. First of all, a little backstory and a little request. And I don't know exactly when the next meeting will be, but that's going to be the request to have a special meeting for this item that we're looking at. And I noticed that, you all might notice that we have reconstructed something at the old Greg's ballroom or the old Greg's property. However, our engineers did not turn in the items on a timely basis, so we barely submitted the applications for the plans to be finalized on Friday, I believe, and we paid the fee. I believe your engineers have them, are reviewing them as we speak. What we're asking is to have, upon review and an agreement, to have a special meeting because there's going to be a lot of interesting things coming up there. We already having some local entities that want to have them under contract, that we don't want to have more delays because of that. And I noticed that it's our timeline can be extended by the contractor if it's waiting so long. So upon legal review and having those appropriate setbacks and plans, I would like to have a special meeting so we can look into it, so we can have that timeline for those contractors to come in and finalize the property. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Robert, I cited, I thought it was signing sheet.
Oh, okay. Okay. Not a problem. We can continue with the meeting.
Okay. Mr. Perez, we will look into it and we will let you, or Mr. Salinas will get back with Mr. Leo and see what we can do in regards to a special meeting. Thank you. Item number 2, minutes. A, approval of minutes for the March 6, 2023 AGUA board meeting. Mr. Salinas?
Yes, we need approval from the board if there's any questions on the minutes.
So move. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Tijerina and a second by Mr. Perez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, presentation and discussion of AGUA SUD 2022 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report and Audit as presented by Ms. Esmeralda Ignes, Carr, Riggs, and Ingram, LLC.
Good afternoon. My name is Esmeralda Ignes, and as Ms. Diaz mentioned, I'm with Carr, Riggs Kristen Ingram. With me today is Carla Gomez. She's one of our supervising seniors leading this engagement. And in the audience is Ana Cadena. And we're here to report that we have concluded the audit for the year ended December 31, 2022 for AGUA SUD. I believe you've received a draft of the financials. So I will go over the main highlights of the report. So on page 1 is where we are documenting our opinion. We have audited the accompanying financial statements of AGUA Special Utility District as of and for the year ended December 31, 2022. In our opinion, the financial statements present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the district as of December 31, 2022, and the respective changes in financial position and cash flows thereof for the year ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. There is an emphasis of matter below in that page where we are disclosing that there was a correction of error, and we will go into more detail as we go through the report. We'll point out there's a note disclosure that describes what makes up the correction of that error to prior period statements. And in addition to that, there was a new pronouncement that was adopted by the district as required by the standards. So that is considered a change in accounting principle of the second part of that emphasis of matter paragraph. These are just items that need to be highlighted in the opinion. However, they don't affect our opinion, so we're issuing a non-modified opinion, which is a clean opinion. And so next we will go over some of the highlights of the financials, and then we will point you to where we have, there were some proposed adjustments that were accepted and corrected by management that are already reported and reflected on the numbers that will be presented. So if you'd like, please turn to page, well, there's a tab, financial statements on your draft. That will be page 15, and I'm gonna turn it over to Carla so she can guide us through the numbers. So I'm gonna start on page 16, which is basically your statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position. So that one present your revenues, what you got in the year, and then it has your expenses, and then it has some other non-operating revenues and expenses. So this year, total revenues, on the top, you have $12,384,000. That's revenues received by the year, in the year. Operating expenses were $14 million. The difference between the operating revenues and the operating expenses is an operating loss of $1.6 million. After that, there are some other non-operating expenses, which is mainly interest expense. And then, so after the non-operating revenues and expenses, there's a loss before grants and capital contributions of $2.8 million. Right after that, you have grants and capital contributions. Those are basically grants revenues that you got from the federal, from the state. You also got some developer contributions to the system and fees. Those are basically your subdivisions when you got the contributions that they're getting. So in total, for total grants and capital contributions, you got $1.7 million. So if you add that to your already loss of 2.8, you ended up with a change in a position of a minus 1.1 million. So you got a loss of 1.1 million. So if you take last year, net position beginning balance was 104,790,949. If you subtract the 1.1 million, then you had to add, there was a prior period adjustment that Esmeralda was mentioning on the opinion letter. That increased, that change, it was a correction of error, and it increased your net position. But in total, at the end, your net position at the end of the year ended up to 139,577. So in reality, if you compare to prior year, it went down, right? It went down by the 1.1 million. Just a little bit of background. I know your revenues you turn to page 15, but I'm gonna show you what makes the net position that you have right now of 104 million, 139,577. That's mainly is mainly made of net investment in capital assets, which is your capital assets minus your debt that you have on the books. So then you have some restricted money. I'm talking about the bottom portion. If you look at the bottom, that's where you can see what makes the net position. So you have the 100 million of net investment in capital assets. Then you have restricted for debt service for about 1.5 million. And then you have some restricted for capital improvement projects of $200,000. The remaining is unrestricted net position of $1,602,220. If you add it all together, that's what makes your total net position at the end of December 31st, 2022. Any questions related to the balances, the numbers? If not,
What did we, ma'am, what did we depreciate at 5.7 million in what, in all the,
on that one in specific, I will tell you something. It went up a lot. Like last year, the depreciation was 4.5 million, and now it says it's 5.7, and it's because of your sewer plan. So your sewer plan last year was a construction in progress because it was not really completed, it was not used by, it was not functioning. This year, it has been completed, it's now operating. I believe there may be
But-
1% that you're still working on.
What sewer plant are you talking
The
about?
main-
The one in
that's-
Sullivan?
The main lift station.
Okay, yeah, cause you said sewer plant.
Yeah, it's the
so
sewer,
audience
sewer main
knows.
lift station south
Yeah.
of Bates.
So we don't have
Yeah.
a sewer plant here in Palm.
So, but because of that, it was a high dollar amount of capital assets, that's why your depreciation increased about $1 million. Right, it was, I believe 48 million, that was in, construction in progress in the prior year, and now it's being, capitalized.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No. Further
Balances?
questions?
If not, we'd like for you to turn your page to 26, page 26, so we can look at the note disclosures. There aren't a lot of differences in the note disclosures as far as presentation from one year to the next, with the exception of, leases that, changed a little bit of the presentation due to the new standard. But in, note 2, we have the breakdown of what makes up the prior period adjustment of $448,000. There was a correction of error identified by management that affected construction in progress of $284,000. It also affected the accumulated depreciation by $12,000. In addition, there was a grant receivable that was adjusted for the amount of $720,887. And this has to do with timing issues because the financials are required to be presented on the accrual basis. These needed to be reflected when the expenses were incurred, or essentially when the grant was earned, right? So as of prior year, it should have been a grant receivable and a grant revenue. So that's related to that, to the prior period adjustment. Like I said, other than that, there really aren't any other differences as far as presentation. It's fairly consistent. We also had a single audit this year. In addition to the regular financial audit, we had to conduct a single audit for the federal awards because of the funding that the district obtained this year. It put them over the threshold, which requires a single audit. So if you turn to page 102, there are two opinions that are provided as a result of the single audit. On page 102 is the independent auditor's report on internal control over financial reporting and on compliance and other matters based on an audit of the financial statements performed in accordance with government auditing standards.
Were you all the auditors for previous years? Have we always stayed with the same auditor?
Last year, yes. This is their second year.
And previous
The
to that?
previous year, I'm sorry.
And previous to that?
Previous year was.
It's Oscar Gonzalez.
Gonzalez, Oscar Gonzalez was before, which was audit for 2020.
It was the Oscar Gonzalez for 2020, and then before that it was Burton, Macumber, and Longoria.
Burton,
BML.
BM
Burton McCumber?
and Longoria, yes, BM.
Thank you.
Any further questions, comments?
We move to the next item for,
Yes, we're gonna move
Discussion.
ahead, yes. Item number 4, discussion and possible action on accepting and approving the AGUA 2022 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report and Audit as presented by Ms. Esmeralda Ignes, Carr, Riggs, and Ingram, LLC.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Tejerina and a second by Mr. Solis. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, discussion and possible action on amending the non-standard service agreement for water to be submitted to 1960 Investment Company LLC for the cost related to water service for Western Meadows subdivision.
M2 Engineering is here, but basically, Madam President, members of the board, the owner
Thank you.
submitted an email actually
Thank you, ma'am.
of an ownership change, that this subdivision was approved at the prior board meeting. However, the owner wishes to, which is Mr. Eric Nordhausen, recently changed the deed of ownership from Nordhausen Utility Construction LLC to 1960 Investment Company LLC. So basically, it's just a name change.
Yes, that is correct. It's was a previously approved subdivision, and it's just being amended to change the warranty property.
So move.
Second.
So I have a motion by Ms. Perez and a second by Mr. Tejerina. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, discussion and possible action to amend and update the interlocal agreement to include a fire fee along with wastewater, solid waste, trash, and brush collection fees as requested by the City of La Jolla.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, we had an agreement with the City of La Jolla in reference to billing and collections. What we're doing right now, it's updating the fees. Currently, we're billing for the City of La Jolla approximately 295 connections or 295 residents. Basically, it's for the trash, which of course it's a garbage fee, and the sanitary sewer fee. On a monthly basis, we collect approximately $14,000 for the City of La Jolla, and we were currently charging $1 per transaction, which equates to approximately $575 per month as far as collection. What we're doing right now, and we're in agreement with the City of La Jolla, under page 4 of the agreement, we're gonna be charging, or we're gonna be collecting like an administrative fee for fire fee, and also the single service charge, which will be for $2 for each of the services, meaning that respectively, it'll be $5 per active account. So basically, the actual agreement will stay the same. We're just updating the fees that the AGUA will be collecting on behalf of the City of La Jolla, and what the city agrees to pay AGUA as well. And I believe Matt was gonna mention, additionally, he mentioned something in reference to us being the agent. Matt?
Yes, sir. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, as Robert mentioned, there's a few slight non-financial substantive changes we'd like to make to the agreement. What I think the board could do, if so inclined, would be to approve the form of the agreement subject to legal counsel Utilities review. Like Mr. Salinas mentioned, there's a couple of adjustments we want to make just to clarify some things, and but it's not anything that would take it outside the board's ability to approve the agreement tonight based on the foundation of the terms.
So what are we, we're gonna be, so we're charging them for garbage, or we're collecting for garbage
We're
and sewer?
collecting from, yes. That
Not
is
water,
correct.
right?
Not water.
That's the city collecting for themselves, right?
That is correct.
And that's 295 connections that and we, what is our fee? What do we,
Right now, it's a $1 per transaction.
Another per-
so roughly what do we make on that?
If we approve it.
$575 per month.
Right.
And if we add in the fire fee?
We're gonna add $1 for the fire fee, and we're gonna change the dollar transaction to $2 per service, which means that is gonna equate to $5 overall,
So it would be from 575, we're jumping into how much?
into 5 times the 2,500.
Well, it's roughly about 1,200 per month with the changes in that transaction fee.
That would be in effect when?
1,200.
As of when, sir? When is that gonna change?
As of when the city of La Jolla approves the actual interlocal agreement. Once we approve it, we'll send it to the city of La Jolla, they approve it, and then it'll become active.
And I know that they have there's a 2002 agreement. Do we have that agreement?
Which one, I'm sorry?
The document references the 2002 agreement.
That's the current agreement that we have to abide by, except of course the changes that they have in their services.
Is that the one where they're able to get the water? Is that the agreement, or?
That we're able to get the water?
Yeah.
No, this is just for
This is
collecting.
just
This is just for collecting.
for collecting
Right,
trash.
but I'm wondering about the CCN, how they're able to get their water. That's not that agreement.
That's, no.
That's a different one.
It's a separate, if one
Mr. Salinas,
exists.
Mr. Salinas, and they're in agreement with this, or they're aware?
Yes, we already met with Mr. Leo and their the city secretary as well.
Okay.
To go over this. So
The
we've been back and forth this past month.
The only thing I would correct is on page 7, it says, the agreement to AGUA Special Utility District is hereby expressly approved by Sullivan City. This is with La Jolla, not Sullivan, right?
Oh, okay. Yes, that is correct. It's for the city of La Jolla. And basically, these are the same fees that we're charging Sullivan as well.
And Mission and Peñitas.
The sections of, yes, that is correct. Yes, I saw the actual correction. We'll correct that as well.
Okay.
So move.
Second.
So I have a motion by Ms. Perez, and I have a second by Mr. Solis. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. I-
Sorry, Ms. Perez, is that upon legal review?
Yeah,
The
that's
motion.
what Matt said. We're agreeing to upon legal review. It won't be brought back to us, will it? It's just,
It will not need to be brought back.
So the corrections will be made and then it'll move forward.
Ma'am.
Okay.
Well, what we'll do is we'll make the corrections, we'll get it signed on our end, we'll deliver that agreement to La Jolla, and of course, they'll have to go through their approval process at their next meeting, I suppose. But, it will not need to come back before you. Now, there were some changes, they all of a sudden wanted to change the dollar amount, we'd bring it back to the
Yeah.
board. But as far as the changes we need to make, based upon the board's approval here, we'll be good to go.
it's an extra revenue for us, so I think it's good.
Okay.
Any,
All right, moving forward.
We did.
Yes, we're good, okay. Moving forward, item number 7, discussion and possible action on an order by the AGUA SUD Board of Directors amending Article 9, Section 9-2, Service Investigation Fee and Preliminary Evaluation of Service Fee, adding a fee for water model review. Mr. Salinas.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, if I may direct you to page 2 out of the order. Section 9-2, C, which is the proposed language and additional fee, and this is for the water model review fee, shall be $750 per application, or the actual cost to the district for such review, whichever is greater. So currently, we have an engineer that does the water model. He, charges on a per subdivision basis, $750 for that, and of course, AGUA is paying. So what we're basically doing is we're basically gonna,
Offset the
as
fee.
part of the subdivision process, pass that cost to the developer, which is basically is the water model review fee that we have, the exact cost that the engineer will actually invoice us for.
So that's a one-time fee per subdivision?
Yes,
So basically, what we used to pay out of pocket for the engineer,
yes,
it's to offset that.
yes, that is correct.
And if it's more, that's what we're gonna charge the developer?
Yes. In case, let's say in a couple of years, it changes to, but we might bring it back, right, changes to $1,000 or $1,250, the developer will incur that fee.
So Milo, this is what Milo's charging, the $750, right? Or
No,
the
it's
engineer?
Meldon and Hunt.
Meldon and Hunt,
Meldon and
okay.
Hunt.
So move.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Solis, I'm sorry, Ms. Ana Maria Perez, and a second by Mr. Solis. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, General Manager's Report. A, March financials.
Yes, Madam President, for that summary, I have here Mr. Jaime Reina, the Finance Director.
Yes, Board. These financial statements are as of March 31st, or the end of the first quarter. If you could please turn your attention to the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in that position. Here you'll see our operating revenues, which are at 3.1 million, or 24% of our budget, so 1% behind. Operating expenses are 2,099,000, or 25%. Overall, we're currently in line with first quarter budget.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Okay, B, First Quarter Investment Report.
Yeah, yes, Board. The investment report measures the interest earned by our bank accounts. For the first quarter, our bank accounts earned $100,313 worth of interest.
Questions?
Where's that at?
On the second page of the investment report at the very bottom.
How much
It's
do we earn?
broken up by Lone Star, tax bill, and escrow accounts.
Okay. That's how much we made in interest for the month,
For the first quarter,
for the first quarter.
yes.
Where's the cash to capital improvement? Where's that at? In case we're,
That is in escrow. It's at on the second page. It's in escrow funds. It's Wells Fargo and Bank of Oklahoma. Those are restricted funds by TWB. They have control over and
okay. And what
Those-
about non-restricted? How much money you have in the bank as of March?
On the first page, at the very top, you have the general operating account. The general operating account closed cash balance at $538,000, and the operating reserve and payrolls are unrestricted, but the majority of the other accounts are restricted accounts.
Thank you.
Thank you. C, can we move forward? C, Senate Bill 1188 and House Bill 5313 regarding the amendment to district enabling legislation.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, as we all know, Senate bill has been moving forward through the stages, right? As of right now, it has been out of the House committee, that's as of May 4, 2023, and now it has moved to stage 5, which will be voted on the House, and that's for Senate Bill 1188. That's the update I have. I don't know if you have any questions on that, but it has been progressing, through the weeks, through the past weeks.
Okay.
Is that just for the Senate bill, or that includes the House bill?
That's just for the Senate bill. I
Okay.
think there hasn't been any movement on the House bill, as of today, but basically it's the companion, so basically they're identical documents. One is a House bill and the other one is a Senate bill.
So they go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand.
I don't
One
think
gets
it made it
approved-
out of committee yet, right, in the House?
Yeah, no. But the Senate bill is the one that has been progressing, moving.
Questions, comments?
I thought he was gonna say something.
Okay. D, City of Palmview workshop request.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, City Manager, Mr. Michael Leo, requested, for me to talk to the board in reference to have a joint, workshop with the City of Palmview, and this is in reference to, contingency plans for the sanitary sewer, project and, the old Greg's, property. And of course, they wanna know in reference to, the progressing of the, lawsuit, litigation that we have right now.
Okay.
So basically, it's to let know the board if you would like to have a workshop.
Yes, and based on what public comments on, I know that they're going to, or his request to at a special meeting based on that report that we get on the Griggs development, because they already have change orders if we delay that.
That project. Yeah, and basically, I mean, we do have a Palmview, committee, right now that we can, we can meet any time the committee wishes to. But if you'd like to do a joint workshop, then I'll need to coordinate that, more with the City of Palmview to get all the board members on a
How
actual
would
day.
that work? Would it be several of us, or how?
Would it be all of us?
If it's with the committees, it's no more than 3. And then the same thing with the city, and we've done that several times, we've met and discussed the issues. If we want a full workshop, then if there's gonna be a quorum, then we need to send out the notices for a public meeting.
Yeah, because I think City of Palmview, everybody wants to be there,
Right.
the whole board. Because they got issues that what we have, the project, the sewer and everything, so.
And more than anything, we don't want to delay, they're already progressing on that property. We don't want to delay that further because we've already delayed projects because of the sewer, and this one is ready to go, having that meeting if it's ready to go.
Well, maybe a good idea just to have
The committee?
meet, discuss those issues and speed it along.
Okay.
Who's on our?
Ms. Diaz, Ms. Perez, and, Mr. Perez.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we can coordinate that with the
We
city.
could coordinate a meeting. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's move forward. E, Mile 2 Road Interconnect Project.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, just to give an update to the board on the Mile 2 Road Interconnect Project. As we all know, we awarded that project on the last meeting to SNR Construction. And we had a pre-construction meeting, and the projected commencement date will be within 2 weeks for that project, so that we can have that interconnect, and then we'll test as necessary to see the pressure fluctuation between both entities.
And that's Mile 2 and what intersection?
That's Mile 2 between Inspiration and Moorfield.
All right.
Inspiration and what?
Moorfield.
Warfield?
Moorfield.
Any questions, concerns?
Do you have the cost for that?
The cost awarded was approximately $30,000 on that project.
That's a 12-inch or what is
That's an 8-inch, and we'll be providing the materials for that. So basically, it was just labor, and it was taken to the board on the prior meeting for approval.
So hopefully they don't come back with change orders, that's the one we talked about,
Yeah,
because of the how.
that's the one
How
that we
low the
talked
bid
about.
can
No,
be.
I mean we mentioned that at the pre-construction meeting, and
Yeah.
the contractor feels confident that he'll.
Okay,
he'll do the project for that amount.
okay. Item number 9, District Engineers Report.
Item F.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that again?
F.
F, I'm sorry. F, no, E.
No, you already did.
Storm damage.
We did,
F.
we
It's
just
F.
finished D, we need to do F.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's because I printed out, sorry. I printed out this one. from
Yes,
last week.
yes, and we added this.
Yes.
This item.
Yeah, it's because
for the-
Pam's like, everything's the same, so I had the one from last week, I'm sorry.
For the special meeting.
F, April 28, 2023, storm damage updates.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, just to give an update to the board, of course, the storm damage updates of the storm that happened on April 28th, 2023. On the AGUA SUD Annex building, which is this building, we had roof section damage. We had water leaks here on the lobby and the boardroom. We have carpet water damage. The ceiling tile replacement, we replaced all of the ceiling tiles on this area. And on the warehouse, we had a wall panel that we will need to replace also as damaged. So we might be looking into replacing the carpet as well for the boardroom. But we'll look into that and maybe get quotes for that. As far as the water plants, on the 3 water plants, we had no issues, just the electricity going out, and then the generators, of course, kicked in and took care of the pressure on the distribution system. We only had one issue here at the standpipe booster station, which is here on 3 Mile Line and between Abram and 492. One of the garage doors got damaged, but basically the booster was not offline. On the wastewater collection system, we had issues on one of the lift stations here in Palmview, which is lift station F south of Goodwin Road. The tower collapsed, so the SCADA system is down. So we're getting quotes for that tower to get repair or replace. That's one of the communication towers. The lift station south of La Homa, we just got fence damage. We're gonna get quotes and fix that. On the main lift station, one of the main lift station, we had one of the crane, which is the one that picks up the pumps for repairs. That crane got damaged. Also, some of the pumps were damaged due to that crane collapsing, and there were some electrical wires that were cut that we need to fix. But just to give a board an update on the main lift station, the crane was approximately $30,000 back then. So we're gonna look into probably replacing that crane with another one, because I think it's beyond repair. So we'll look into that, and of course we'll bring it to the board for approval on that. And of course, on lift station F, on the generator, we're also doing an assessment on the electrical problem. Of course, in Sullivan, we had any issues as far as the wastewater treatment plant. We got power back on Sunday in Sullivan. Here in Abram, we got power back on Saturday morning. On the FM 492, which is here, we were on and off Saturday until Sunday, and everything else, of course, in Sullivan was okay as far as electrical. So that's the report that I have, and we'll be conducting assessments as well, and we'll fix.
So out of all of that damage, is AGUA gonna file any insurance claims?
We're gonna meet with Mr. Greg, what's his, Clements, for that, to see if it's
Yeah.
worth going into putting up a claim, especially for the large
crane.
amount, the crane, and maybe the roof.
Yeah, and the
Basically
crane.
depends,
And coming in to test to see if there's any mold or any in
also
the building.
we can definitely do that.
Cause, I mean, I guess we pay a lot of insurance
Yes.
for a lot of things, you know, we just approved it this last time, and, hopefully, a lot of those things, or a lot of that is on there.
Well, it'll depend, we're looking, it depends on the deductible, because I believe it's per
Right.
occurrence or per
Oh.
location. So every location will have to
Meet
will
up
have to
deductible.
submit. I think it's not, as a whole, but we'll look into that and bring, of course, the board a report on the insurance.
So you, right now, to fix everything, we've used our monies here.
Right now, for example, for the roof, just to fix the roof and the panels over here at the warehouse, the approximate cost, we solicit for three bids. It's $8,900, if I'm not mistaken, on just fixing the roof and the actual panels on the warehouse as well.
Is it fixed or not? Not yet?
Not yet. They're gonna fix, by this week, they're gonna fix it because they have to cut the panels to the right size. So they're ordering that already, so it should be fixed by the end of the week. Panels. But internally, yes, we did replace
It's
the
coming
the
out of
ceiling
our budget
tiles.
or our money.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, we need to look into see those deductibles.
So, yeah, and that was one of the main reasons also, that's why we had to cancel the meeting.
The meeting last time, last week.
Yes.
It was not a good day, that day.
Okay, any questions, comments? Okay, now I can move into item 9. My apologies. District Engineers Report, A, NetBank Technical Assistance Agreement, sewer hookups.
Yes, Madam President, members of we have a M2 engineer that will give us a report on those items.
Thank you.
Prepared a summary on our project status.
No.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam President and fellow government members. My name is Fernando Esteban with M2 Engineering. I'm going to go ahead and provide the engineering
Afternoon.
status report for the following projects. Item number 9A is in regards to the Bensten Palm Drive. Board members, there has not been much construction progress in the last time we met. However, NatBank did give a response to the change order that we submitted. NatBank has responded with not approving a portion of the change order that included additional costs to adjust the service connections and additional work necessary to make these connections. However, they did agree to include a credit of over $400,000 and increase the contract amount by $29,350. In our opinion, NatBank should be covering $6,750 of those $29,000, so we're gonna be actively coordinating with them to see if we can get them to agree to that. It's a special circumstance where the septic tanks are found under concrete pads, and it's an unusual circumstance, but I think that we may be able to get that, them to cover that, but the remaining $22,600 may have to be the responsibility of AGUA or the homeowners, just because NatBank did not agree to do any additional increases due to additional work that might have to be done on the property to get those connections installed. So, I guess what are those typical things, such as stamped concrete? We have a special circumstance where there's a padding cage over the septic tanks. So there's, I guess, certain items where it's unforeseen and NatBank hasn't been able to approve of that, but we are actively coordinating with them to see what they can help us out with. Just to touch base on the design of the additional service areas, the final design of the additional area is complete, and we are submitting it to NatBank for final review. Upon the review, we're gonna be going ahead and moving on with the advertisement of the bid so that we can move forward and get that project moving as well. And that concludes the NatBank Line project. Do you guys have any questions? Okay. Moving on to item 9B, the Mendiola Water Storage Tank project. So the design team, CSJ, and Northern have been in communication. In talks to CSJ, they are working
for Bendiola.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And, that $12,000 is in regards to the conduit, the aluminum conduit.
Mhm.
So they're ironing out those details, and so they should be wrapped up.
Yeah, because the credit report was 5,000.
Right, so it was 5,000, and then we told them that we got a verbal of 12,000, so we're gonna try and get something in writing so that see if they can move forward with that. That concludes the, is there any other questions on the bill?
No.
Okay. Moving on to item 9C, the Texas Water Development Board Palmview Sanitary Sewer Improvement Projects. Board, we have requested televising between EB Reina and Minnesota for the installed sewer collection system that's there. That's the G1 service area that was not substantially complete. Due to the weather, there was some delays, but they did assure us that they are continuing progress and hope to have that complete in about 2 to 3 weeks. Once we receive their report, we will do our analysis on what the findings are, and we have also sent out a survey crew so that we can pick up data, topography data of the installed infrastructure that's out there, just to see what's actually out there and what was actually proposed on the plans, just to get a better idea of the comparison on our report. So, upon receiving their report, I anticipate preparing the report, taking about 2 weeks after that, and have you guys a preliminary copy for you guys to review.
Do you have an update when Flores and the elementary are gonna be connecting to our system? Because you all are the engineers for the school district, right?
Yes,
On
yes,
that
sir.
project?
I'm not leading on that project, so I don't have that answer for you. I know they have been making progress, and there were some change orders that were being discussed at the La Jolla board these past couple of weeks, but I'm not 100% sure on where that stands. Board, is there any questions on the item 9C?
No.
Okay. Moving on to the last item, item 9D, the capital improvement plan. The CIP is approximately 90% complete. We're verifying with Melton and Hunt to see if they have any other recommendations to include, in sort of in terms of projects or improvements to include on the CIP, so that we don't have to be coming back and updating. We just put a full list of comprehensive improvements that we think will benefit the district over the next 10 to 20 years. We did get to coordinate and meet with Mr. Jeff Snowden. We did provide him with our data, and hopefully within the next 1 to 2 weeks, he will be providing an impact fee update so that we can go ahead and finalize the CSP. That concludes my status update for item 9D. Is there any other questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions or comments? Okay, item number 10, executive session. As provided by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Sections 551071-551091, the Board of Directors may convene in a closed executive session to deliberate, discuss, or consult regarding the matters listed below. A proper motion and approval of any of the items set forth above under Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with attorney. 10A, cost number C-3353-20-I S&B Infrastructure versus AGUA SUD Utility District and District Court of Hidalgo County, Texas, 398th Judicial District. 10B, Performance Services, Inc. litigation. 10C, Senate Bill 1188 and House Bill 5313 regarding the amendment to district enabling legislation. 10D, Mendiola Water Storage Tank Project. 10E, Service Capacity Limitations and Pending Applications. 10F, Havana Water Treatment Plant Improvement Project with the Water Development Board. I need a motion to go into executive.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I'm gonna take a motion by Ms. Dr. Adriana Villarreal, and a second by Mr. Tijerino. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Did
Motion
we set the
carries.
time?
This is at 7
Did we set
o'clock
the
PM.
time?
Yes, 7 PM.